In 2015, a family on vacation in rural France found a hidden room beneath their Airbnb and realized someone had been living there, watching them sleep. The Martins were from Manchester. Dad Paul, Mom Sarah, and their two kids, Emma, 12, and Josh, 9. They booked a stone farmhouse in the Dordogne region for a week-long summer break. The listing was charming: exposed beams, a big fireplace, an authentic rustic cellar, no neighbors for half a mile, perfect for a quiet getaway. On the first night, Sarah noticed a smell in the hallway outside the kids' room. Not garbage, not mold, more like sweat and something metallic, like old coins. She opened windows, lit a candle, and tried to ignore it. At 3:11 a.m., the baby monitor they still used for Josh crackled to life. The Martins had placed the camera in the kids' shared room so they could hear if Josh had nightmares. The screen on the bedside table glowed. Sarah woke up to a faint hiss of static and breathing, slow, too close to the microphone. She glanced at the monitor and froze. The kids were asleep, backs to the camera, but there was movement in the far corner of the room. A sliver of darkness, like a door slightly ajar where there shouldn't be one, just behind the wardrobe. She blinked. The image flickered. The corner was empty again. She told herself it was just the cheap Wi-Fi glitching. She didn't wake Paul. She didn't want to be dramatic. The second night, the kids started complaining. Emma said, "Mom, there's someone walking around at night." "I heard the floorboards." Josh said a voice whispered his name. "Joshua, come downstairs." When Sarah asked what the voice sounded like, he thought for a second and replied, "Like Dad, but wrong." On the third day, Paul went exploring in the cellar. The listing had called it rustic, but it was more like a curved stone tunnel, cool and damp, lit by a single low-watt bulb with a long, dangling string. Cobwebs everywhere, shelves of dusty jars. He noticed a patch of wall near the far end that sounded hollow when he knocked on it. Behind an old wine rack, barely visible, was a hairline crack in the stone, like a sliver of shadow that didn't match the rest of the wall. Paul pulled the rack aside. A narrow wooden door stood there, no handle, just a small keyhole. Fresh scraped marks on the floor suggested someone had moved the rack recently. His stomach churned. He called Sarah down. She joked that maybe they'd found a French panic room. He pushed. The door gave way with a low groan. Inside was a tiny room, 10 feet by 6 at most. Concrete floor, no windows. A bare mattress on the ground, covered in an old floral sheet. The sheet was damp in one corner. In the center of the room, hanging from a nail, was a string of cheap plastic beads, like a child's bracelet. Underneath it, neatly arranged on the floor, were 3 objects that made Sarah's skin crawl: a half-eaten jar of peanut butter, a stack of Polaroid photos, and a small black notebook. The Polaroids were all of the farmhouse interior. Some empty hallways, some of the kitchen, one of the master bedroom door, partially open. The last 3 were the worst. Emma sleeping, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Josh lying on his back, mouth slightly open, the glow of the baby monitor reflecting in his eyes. And one of the parents' bed, taken from the foot of the bed, both adults blurred in half, covered by sheets. They were taken from inside the house. The notebook was written in shaky French. The Martins didn't understand most of it, but there were dates stretching back months. Under July 8th, the day before they arrived, someone had scrawled, new family tomorrow. 2 children. I will stay quiet. Under July 9th, their first night, the boy talks in his sleep. The girl wakes up at every sound. Father snores. Mother checks door 3 times. Under July 10th, she saw me in the eye. Sarah realized what that meant. The night she looked at the baby monitor and thought she saw a door behind the wardrobe, that sliver of darkness, that wasn't a door. That was the reflection of someone standing just out of frame, their eye catching the infrared light for a fraction of a second. The last entry, dated that morning, was even shorter. They found the door. Paul's first instinct was rage. He wanted to search every inch of the property, drag whoever it was into the sunlight. Sarah wanted to grab the kids and run. They compromised. She went upstairs, quietly packed essentials, and told Emma and Josh they were going to get ice cream in town. Paul called the rental owner, pretending to ask about extra storage in the cellar while walking through the house with the phone on speaker, listening for any sound that didn't belong. The owner insisted there was no additional room, his voice tight. When Paul mentioned the Polaroids in the mattress, the owner swore he'd never seen them. I live in Paris. The cleaner has the keys. No one else. His voice dropped. You should leave now. They did. They drove to a hotel 30 minutes away and called the local gendarmerie. Police went to the farmhouse the same afternoon. The hidden room was there, but the mattress was gone. The peanut butter was gone. The beads were gone. The photos and notebook, which the Martins had taken with them, were the only proof anyone had ever been there. Police found a second entrance to the secret room from outside, hidden behind thick ivy on the back wall, footprints in the dirt, cigarette butts, a small pile of chicken bones, gnawed clean. They took DNA samples, dusted for prints, checked local offender databases. No match. The listing vanished from the rental site within 24 hours. The owner stopped responding to emails. The Martins gave their photos and the notebook to police and kept one Polaroid by accident, stuck between travel brochures. It was the one of their bedroom door, half open. If you brighten it just a bit and zoom in on the gap, you can clearly see a hand on the door frame. Long fingers, dirty nails, too high up to be a child's. The case is still technically open. No suspect. No arrests. When the Martin kids talk about it now, they say the worst part wasn't knowing someone watched them sleep. It was the feeling lying in that room in the dark that if they opened their eyes at the wrong moment, they'd see someone standing over them, smiling. Would you still stay in an isolated Airbnb after this? Comment Airbnb if you want more true horror stories from real rentals.